For this next example, we're going to bring back some good memories, and that is factoring. I'm sure you remember factoring a little bit, at least from Algebra 2. We're going to factor these before we solve them. Notice that this one is a little bit weird. We want to make sure that they look like this, where there's 0 on the other side. That's general form. And so to start with in number 1, I want to just add the 15 to both sides, so get x squared minus 8x plus 15 equals 0. Okay, so we start there, and we're going to factor this one. Remembering that with the factoring pattern here, this is the easier version. Number 2 is a little bit more complex. But with this one, x times x is going to be x squared. And then what we have to do is make sure that the numbers that we choose multiply to 15, but add to -8. Now you may have seen some tricks for doing this in the past. You're certainly welcome to use those. But I want you to be able to do this by some guess and check. That's really the way that you understand how to factor, is by doing the guess and check to get the right combination of numbers. The case here is that this ends up being -5 minus 3, because -5 times -3 is positive 15. -5 minus 3 is -8, so both those numbers work. Once we get that, then we go ahead and solve the equation. The equation, we just make this equal to 0, so that's going to be 5 for the first one, and that's going to be 3 for the second one. So for example 1, those are the two solutions, and again, you can check them up in the original, see that they work. One question I get often is, does it matter what order those are in? No, we could flip those around as much as we like. The second one is a little bit more complicated. This one has a 2 in front, and that throws a little bit of a wrench into it. So when we do the factoring groups, one thing that we're going to do here is we're going to split up this 2x squared into 2x and x. Now in order for this to work with the -3 and the 5, it's going to get a little more complicated, because we have to think of this as like FOIL. Now the two numbers that I put here, they're going to multiply to -3, so that's going to be some combination of 1 and 3 somehow. But then the numbers in the middle, what I'm going to do is, thinking about FOIL, that 5x is going to come from these two multiplied together, the I part, and then the O part of FOIL with those two together. When we add those together, it should be 5x. Now the combination that works here is -1 and +3. So just to check, and so you can see that this works, -1 times +3 is -3. So that takes care of this -3 on the end here. The other part of it is making sure that we have 5x. -1 times x is -x, and 2x times 3 is 6x. So if we combine those two together, that gives us 5x, and that tells us that this is a correct factorization for all these, and then 2x times x is 2x squared. So you have to kind of run through that guess and check method of all these factoring problems in order for that to work. And again, if you've got a trick that you know how to do from a previous class, go ahead and use it. I just don't really know that I'll be able to help you with those, because I didn't learn them. I don't think about them using those tricks. But once we have it factored, now we just have to decide what is x. Let's choose the easy one first, x plus 3. That means that one of our solutions is -3. 2x minus 1, if I can't just get that right off the top of my head, what I can do is make a mini equation out of it. Just call it 2x minus 1 equals 0. Add the 1. Divide by 2. X is equal to 1/2. And so that's going to be my other solution in this case.